Hi guys, and welcome back to Claire's Clothes. On today's video, I would love to talk to you about the book Tools of Titans. This is by Tim Ferriss. And see, what Tim has managed to do was he was actually able to go out and interview all kinds of billionaires, entrepreneurs, idols and icons from around the world and put together what can only be described as a handbook. Now this handbook is filled with all kinds of tips, tricks and tools from world-class titans. But if you're wondering, well, what is a titan? I can give you a few examples. If we were to go back in history a little bit, you'd be looking at people such as Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla, and even Albert Einstein. But if you want a more contemporary, modern day version of a titan, you'd be looking more towards people such as Bill Gates, Elon Musk, or even Jeff Bezos. Now, the reason we know their names so well is because they were able to do something that no other could, or at least not to the same standard that they've achieved. They were able to dominate whatever industry or field that they chose to be in, leaving behind quite a remarkable memory of what it is that they've achieved. So now that you have an understanding of titans, let me give you an idea of what it is that they do. See, titans have created themselves a set of rules. Now, a couple of these are things such as uncommon habits and, for example, bigger questions. So if you're wondering what a bigger question might be or what it might look like or sound like, it's something like this. See, if you were to have a 10-year plan, ask yourself, why can't it be done in 6 months? Or how can I have it achieved in 6 months? How can I have this finished in 6 months and not 10 years down the track? How do I achieve what it is I wanted to do in 10 years in just 6 months? Now, by asking this question, you're enabling yourself to do something that not a lot of people outside of these titans have done yet. You're able to actually open your mind up a little bit and basically pursue the idea or entertain the idea of what it would take or what it would look like if you were to do something that you wouldn't think necessarily possible. Now, the thing with bigger questions is that it demands bigger answers. Now, by asking bigger questions, you're able to give yourself answers that you wouldn't necessarily have thought you could have given yourself or that you would have found. Now, the reason they do this is because it gives them the opportunity to do things that, like I said, not many other people have achieved or done or succeeded at yet. Because by asking those bigger questions, you're thinking outside of the box. And that already puts you in a smaller percentile of people that are able to do things that others can't. Now, the thing about titans is that a lot of them have a few things in common. Now, number one is something that you might already be doing yourself. And if you are, good for you because you're already on the right track. And if not, well, it's something that you can definitely start at any point in time. Now, the first one is mindfulness and meditation. Now, it could be one or the other or a combination of both. But this is something that you'll find most titans have in common. That they are able to put aside the jargon of the day, the things that they've built up in their mind that doesn't necessarily need attention or isn't, useful information, I suppose you could say. Now, they are able to quiet their mind and put aside all the things that they've either consciously or subconsciously taken in throughout the day and put it aside. That way freeing them up of the stress or the knowledge that they've taken on but isn't quite useful to them. So that's number one, guys. Number two is that they did some sort of work for themselves. They've either put time and money into what it is that they wanted to do, and they've achieved that. They've completed whatever goal they set out to achieve. And they did that on their own time and with their own money. This is what sets them aside from a lot of people, is because a lot of people aren't willing to put in the time or the effort or even sometimes the money that is required to get them places that, a lot of other people aren't. That's why they stay the 99%, because they're not willing to put in what other people, don't already want to do. Now, moving on, guys, is number three. Number three, he talks about, it's a belief, basically. A belief that failure is not durable. So, as far as I can say, they have the belief or shared belief that failure is not durable. From my understanding, this would be something along the lines of not sustainable. This is not something that they can keep up or keep going because failure can only last for so long. Because at some point in time, you have to learn from our failures. We have to be able to say, all right, I failed at this, I tried it 100 different ways, what's another way I can do it? Because so long as you're failing, you're still moving forward and you're still achieving some degree of, success in your field or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And number 4, guys, is convert weaknesses to big competitive advantages. So they were able to convert all their weaknesses, or at least some, over to big absolute advantages on their behalf. Alright guys, so that's a couple of things that they have in common. Now they do share a few other things, but we won't go into them right now. But you're probably wondering at this point in time, because the book is called Tools of Titans, what are the tools? So the tools can be a number of things, but for starters and for example, there's things like routines, habits, books, or even book recommendations, common or positive self-talk, and even as little things as taking supplements or finding favorite questions. Things like this is what helps them to achieve what it is that they have, or at least maintain it. Now moving on, guys, there's 2 principles. Alright, and number 1, it says success, no matter how you either define it or whatever it might be for you, success is achievable if you collect the right field-tested beliefs and habits. So this means that you need to be able to weave out all the, basically, if someone said something to you on a whim and you took it for granted, if you took it as it was and you ran with it and they were wrong, they might lead you down the path that won't necessarily lead you to your goal or to success, whatever it might be for you. So don't just take people's, word. Do a little bit of research and look into what it is you want to do and find out the right information. Because even in a science experiment, you'll find they do 3 tests just to find the average, just to make sure that they're getting the right result. Okay, so don't just do one and then run off with it and think you're going to have success, because you might find that the one that you run off with might be the wrong one and it'll lead you down the wrong path, which means you have to backtrack all the way back to the beginning and start again. So to save you all that time, effort and energy, make sure you do your testing in the beginning. Make sure you're going off on the right foot. And the second one, guys, is that the idols that you have in mind, so your billionaires, your entrepreneurs, your icons that you look up to, people like that, nearly all of them, they're all walking flaws, basically, because all they've done is really maximize 1 or 2 strengths. And that's all it takes. Everyone has some degree of strengths. No matter what it is, it's different for everyone, but 1 or 2 is all it takes. And start maximizing them. Make sure you compound on your strengths, but work on your weaknesses as well. Don't neglect them or negate them, because they're still going to matter later on down the line. But so long as you have some degree of strength, you have somewhere to start. Now it also says, if you're not sure, discover your unique strengths, because we'll just try things, work it out, because you'll either succeed or you'll fail at them. And the worst that can happen is that you fail and you go back to the drawing board and you start again. Because that's how we discover new things. That's how we learn, is that we try and we fail and we try and we fail, and at some point in time we will succeed. So, discover what it is that you're good at, discover your strengths, and then start, developing them and working habits around them. Alright guys, so I'll do a quick summary of all that I've gone through as quick as I can, but that'll be it for me. So at the beginning I spoke about how Tim has actually gone out and put together basically a handbook after speaking to all kinds of idols, entrepreneurs, billionaires and icons from around the world. And in his book it contains all kinds of tips, tricks and tools from world-class titans. Now, like I said, titans are people that have definitely left a mark or a memorable name for themselves simply by doing what other people haven't done or haven't been able to achieve to the standard that they have. Now, make sure you're asking yourself bigger and better questions every single day, because you'll find that with bigger and better questions, it will demand that you have bigger and better answers. So it's like a muscle. The more you work on it, the more you'll find you'll start getting places with it. And moving on, it says, most titans have these few things in common. Not all of them, but most of them. Number 1 is that they have some degree of daily mindfulness or meditation session. Now, like I said, you might already be doing this, but if you're not, you can start at any point in time, because you're not capped, anyone can try it. Number 2 is that they've completed some degree of work on their own time and with their own money. 3 was that they have a belief or a shared belief that failure is basically durable or not sustainable, in other words. And number 4 is that they've turned their weaknesses into big competitive advantages. So however they did that, it's all, individually up to them. but like I said, you know, everyone can do it. You just have to find out what it is or how. And if you're wondering what the tools are things like routines, habits, books, or even book recommendations, things like common or positive self-talk, or even things such as supplements and maybe your favorite questions. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what the tools are, and that can be anything. It can apply to anyone and everyone. Now, there's two principles, like I said before. The first one is that success, however you define it or determine by it, is basically achievable if you collect the right field data. If you're able to collect the right tested field beliefs and habits, and make sure that you're not setting off with the wrong ones, because like I said, you're going to have to backtrack all the way back to the beginning if you do. And to save all that time and energy, make sure you just do your testing in the beginning, or at least ask someone who's already done it. That way you're getting off on the right foot and you're going down the right track and you're getting to your goal faster. Now, the second habit, guys, second principle, is that the idols that you have in mind, so the billionaires, entrepreneurs, icons, things like that, those people, they're nearly all walking flaws. So all they've done is really hone and work on one or two strengths of theirs. And like I said, you could do the same. And last but not least, to discover your unique strengths, all you've got to do is go out there and start trying things, all right? Because we're all going to fail at certain things, some better than others, failure or success. But no matter what, you'll find your strengths. So just make sure you're getting out there and you're trying things, because so long as you're trying, you're making steps in the right direction. If you never try, you're never going to know. All right, guys, that's all from me today. Now, we'll be making a lot more of these videos for this training series to help with your personal development goals. But until next time, leave a comment below on what you like the most, and I look forward to seeing you next time in Claire's Clues. Bye, guys.